Okay, so you guys unfortunately were absent when we did the review for these Great Depression problems and New Deal solutions. So this is an opportunity for us to review the correct answers. So what we'll do is we'll start with the first one. Max, what's the first one?
Failing banks.
Failing banks. Okay, so from the New Deal programs, what can you guys remember address the issues of failing banks?
FDIC.
FDIC. You're gonna say that? Okay. So we're gonna write down FDIC here, and then just really quick, can you guys remember what the FDIC did? Or one aspect, or how it's solved?
It insured money in banks, right?
Insured money in banks, yes.
Okay.
And then, like, how is that relevant to you guys today? Do you guys
Well,
remember?
I can like deposit stuff in my bank account, and then it's insured by the government, so I can't just like, the bank can't just close and take off with all my money.
Right. You guys remember the bank runs we studied in the Great Depression?
Mhm.
How people would go to withdraw their money from the bank, but because there was the fractional
Right.
reserve lending, yeah, okay, perfect. You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Blakely, what is the next one?
Unsafe stock market.
Okay. There are a couple, no, there was one specific one that we discussed. Do you guys remember that?
Wasn't it the one where it was like, banks can't buy the stock? Or was that with failing banks?
No, the one you're thinking of, that's exactly what it does. That's why that we thought there was some overlap between this
Mhm.
particular solution with failing banks, but this particular solution is addressing specifically unsafe stock markets.
Alright.
Do you guys remember? Start with an S. Could you-
SEC? This one,
Yeah,
SEC?
SEC, yeah, perfect. So this SEC is Security and Exchange Committee.
What did that do again?
Do you guys remember?
It stopped the banks from buying stock so that, yeah.
Yeah, because remember the banks were using the money that people had deposited. They were using that money to buy stocks. And desperate farmers.
There's the Tennessee Valley Act, right? TVA.
TDA, Tennessee Valley Authority.
Oh, yeah, is
Yeah,
that,
that's right.
okay.
And then do you guys remember what that, they did a lot, but can you guys remember like maybe the big ideas, the key points from that?
It helped get electricity to all the farms and stuff, so like,
Yeah.
mm,
Do you remember what region it was?
the Tennessee area.
Tennessee. So if you look on this map here, it's gonna be these southern states over here, and these are considered more rural, underdeveloped areas. So what the TVA did was help provide electricity, right,
Didn't
to those areas.
teach like farming
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, exactly, no,
Okay.
more updated farming techniques, right? And then there was also another act that, was passed during the New Deal that addressed desperate farmers. Do you guys remember? Started with an A.
The
AAA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know, I was gonna show you this, but you guys don't even need it, so yeah. And, what can you tell me about the AA?
Basically, it was just like, we're gonna get rid of all the excess and surplus of like everything, on farms so that, the prices would go back up.
Right, so what you have in the, during the Great Depression was low prices for farmers, remember? And, it was a result of overproduction.
Yeah, didn't they like kill a bunch of animals just for?
Right, yeah, and we talked about that in class when you guys were absent, but we really don't exactly know why they decided to do that, other than controlling, just as Max was saying, the price. So if you have like a huge surplus, like the best way to get the prices down would be to just eliminate the surplus. So unfortunately, all those little piggies and cows had to die.
This pig went to die.
That's right, that's right. All right, and then the next one's going to be industrial problems. Now, some people had some confusion about that, but the main focus for the industrial problems,
There's like unions.
yeah, exactly, the
Yeah.
unions. So do you guys remember which New Deal solution
FEA?
addressed that.
No?
No.
Oh, the Wagner Act.
The Wagner Act.
Oh.
I
Perfect.
didn't see that one.
Perfect. And do you guys remember like the big idea for the Wagner Act?
It didn't it like legalize and protect people who were unionizing?
Right. And then also a big takeaway from it is, rather than going on strikes, do you guys remember the term that we used to help people negotiate their contracts and their prices and wages? Collective bargaining, right? Perfect. So it really encouraged members of the union to collectively bargain for better working conditions and then also for better wages. And then the last one, do you guys remember for the New Deal, like, what was like the biggest focus?
Joblessness and poverty.
Right, so when we did our speed dating activity, that was the one that had the most
Oh yeah.
programs, right? So, quite a few. Do you guys want to just take a list of those?
Social Security, WPA, or PWA housing, FAP, FEA,
Mhm.
and CCC, basically the rest of them.
Yep, and the NYA.
Yeah.
So the big ones for this would be definitely
Social Security.
Social Security, right? And that has had lasting effects. I mean, you guys are gonna, when you go into work, gonna pay into a Social Security account. And then the other big one. That's right. Yeah, and then the other ones were basically about.
PWA.
Yeah, but they were about putting people to work, right?
Yeah.
And it's the whole big idea about the New Deal was, instead of just throwing money at people, they wanted to make sure that jobs were created where people could work for the support. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's about it. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Not really.
Excellent, good job.
Thank you.